In this Pioneer DJ CDJ 2000 Nexus 2 tutorial, the Pro DJ link connection. How to connect devices with your Pro DJ link connection and what can you do with it. You can beat sync between two players and even your mixer. You can play tracks directly out of Rekordbox. Then the red ring, for example, that lights up when you operate the slider. And you can play tracks from a USB drive that is plugged into your other player. I'll dive into all those features, and I have a warning for something that can really screw up your DJ set. This video is a preview of my CDJ 2000 Nexus 2 course. The link to the course is in the description below. And this is what a Pro DJ link connection looks like in a schematic. On top we have the laptop. The laptop is totally optional, by the way, and only necessary if you want to play songs from Rekordbox on your CDJ players. The laptop is connected to the switch. The switch is the device that connects everything together. Then I connect both players to the switch and I connect my mixer to the switch. The Pro DJ link connection is effectively a network connection, a standard computer network connection between a couple of different devices. You can therefore also use standard network equipment like this switch, for example. My advice is don't buy the cheapest one from a web store, because cheapness and reliability often don't go together. And by the way, you don't put the cheapest tires under your Ferrari, do you? Because it's using a standard network connection, you can use regular standard UTP cables. Cat5 cables, for example, are enough. Let's plug in all the cables in the devices. And now put all the cables in the switch. And plug in the power and we're ready to go. When the Pro DJ link connection is present, then you can copy over the BPM from one player to another. In this case, I want to copy over the BPM from player 2 to player 1. Before I can do that, I have to set player 2 to the master. And I can do that by pressing the master button. Then if player 1 was first set as master, then the light of master will go off of the first player. The player 2 reads 129 BPM. Player 1 reads 120 BPM. When I want to copy over the 129 BPM from player 2 to player 1, the only thing I have to do is press the sync button. You'll see that now in the display is presented 129 BPM. When I operate the slider of player 2, then it will have effect on the BPM of player 1. If you don't want to have that connection anymore, then you have to press the sync button again. And now when I operate the slider of player 2, it won't react to player 1. But the same thing applies for your mixer. Back in the good old days, we had to tap in our BPM. So on the beat of the song we have to tap, and then it will make a calculation of what is the BPM of a song. You can also use the auto function, but yeah, that works for 4 to the floor beats, but maybe not in a song that has that regular pattern. The Pro DJ link connection can help you with that. For example, my player 1 has a BPM of 123, my player 2 has a BPM of 127. When I put my input selector to player 1, you'll see that it will light up here. Beat FX will light up on channel 1 and it says 123 here in the display, and it says also 123 here in the display. When I put it to channel 2, then you'll see that channel 2 has a different BPM and that the BPM in the display has changed. Now when I set it to master, then it will try to detect the BPM on the master channel. That has nothing to do with the masters on your players, for example. When I play both songs together in a different BPM, then it doesn't know and just chooses one or the other. In this case, it chooses player 1, 123 BPM. When I put down the slider of channel 1, it will jump to 127. It may take a while, but here it is. What is also a super handy feature is the on-air display, and with the on-air display your CDJ jog wheel will turn red. For example, I'm putting up fader 2 and you'll see that the jog ring of player 2 will light up red. The same thing for player 1, slider 1, and you'll see it turns red. So you know which player is currently on the air. This works not only with the faders here, but also with the crossfader over here. So when we put up these ones and I slide it to the left, then my left player will have a red ring. When I slide it to the right, my right player will have a red ring. You can also pull tracks of another player. So for example, I have over here player 2, and player 2 has a USB drive in it with songs. And if I want to play the songs from this USB drive, then I can use them on my first player. How do I do that? I click on the link button and then it will load the settings from my USB drive of player 2, if I want to do that. But I can now use it as if the USB drive was over here in player 1. So I can browse it, I can use the playlist, and I can select a song and play it. This trick will only work with USB drive and SD card media, but not the CD. But you can also connect Rekordbox, so your laptop, with your CDJs, so you can play tracks from your CDJs directly out of Rekordbox. If you connect the Pro DJ link connection, then you will see that in the bottom of the screen of Rekordbox there will appear an icon that says link. And when you click that icon, then you'll see your two players over here and your mixer over here. Now you can drag songs from your playlist to player 1, for example, and player 1 starts loading in the song and directly playing in my case. But of course you can also drag a song to player 2. And play it. But you can also preview songs from Rekordbox, so you can hear what is going on, a preview, in your headphones that is connected with your mixer. For example, I want to preview my first song in my list, so I will click on that first song. And if your volume of your laptop is down, because it will play over two channels, the first channel is the audio channel of your laptop. If you put it down, it won't give a noise, but it will also play via your DJ mixer. You have to enable the cue function for that, and you can even skip in the songs. But there's a second way you can pull tracks out of Rekordbox. If you click on the Rekordbox button over here in the top left corner of your CDJ, then you will see it is connected with my MacBook. Now you can browse through all the lists that I've made and load in a track, for example. And you can browse Rekordbox the same way as you would have done with your USB device, for example. Make sure that your player numbers are correct, because otherwise things might not work the way you would expect. For example, my player 1 here is connected physically to audio channel number 1, so under fader number 1. But it is set to player number 3. So when I use slider number 3, that will operate the red ring. But that is not correct, because it is under fader number 1, but as you see, fader number 1 doesn't respond to the red ring on player number 1. If you want to change that, use the utility on your CDJ, press menu for 2 seconds, go to player number, over here, then I change it to player number 1. If you want to change those settings, make sure that the Pro DJ Link connection is active, but that there are no devices in the machine, so no SD cards and no USB devices, but also that there isn't a connection between Rekordbox and your CDJ. Then the option will be grayed out and it is impossible to change. More CDJ 2000 Nexus 2 tutorials in the playlist here in the screen. Also a link to my CDJ 2000 Nexus 2 step-by-step course. Also here in the screen, links to both are also in the description below.